a few minutes, which says, following further evaluation this morning, the Queen's doctors are concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended.
Queen Camilla's sudden collapse rocks the royal family. Palace sources reveal the shocking truth behind her mysterious disappearance from the most important funeral in royal history. You won't believe what doctors discovered about her condition that has King Charles terrified. With Trump's arrival just hours away, insiders are asking the devastating question: is this the beginning of the end for the 78-year-old Queen?
And I are lucky enough to spend precious time each year in Aberdeenshire. And finally, because 10 years ago, I received the great honour of being installed as Chancellor of this very special university.
The explosive details that Buckingham Palace tried to hide will leave you speechless. What happened behind closed doors will change everything you thought you knew about the royal family's darkest hour. The announcement came as a shock to many, particularly given the historic nature of the event and the Queen's typically robust schedule of royal engagements. According to multiple reports from royal correspondents and palace sources, Queen Camilla had traveled from Scotland that morning specifically to attend the funeral service, making her last-minute withdrawal all the more unexpected. The official statement from Buckingham Palace was brief but direct in explaining the sudden change of plans. Palace spokesperson confirmed that Her Majesty had been forced to step back from her royal duties due to health concerns, specifically citing her ongoing recovery from what medical professionals classify as acute sinusitis. The condition, while common and typically not serious, can be particularly debilitating for individuals, especially those of advanced age who maintain demanding public schedules. Royal protocol dictates that such announcements are made only when absolutely necessary, highlighting the genuine nature of the Queen's health concerns. The palace rarely issues statements about minor ailments or temporary indispositions, preferring to handle scheduling changes quietly behind the scenes. The fact that an official announcement was deemed necessary suggests that Queen Camilla's condition was significant enough to prevent her from fulfilling what would have been considered an essential royal duty. The timing of the withdrawal was particularly notable, coming just hours before the funeral service was scheduled to begin at Westminster Cathedral in London. This type of last-minute cancellation is unusual in royal circles, where engagements are typically planned weeks or months in advance, and cancellations are rare. The short notice suggests that the Queen's condition may have worsened unexpectedly, or that medical advice strongly recommended against her attendance at the lengthy ceremonial event. Adding to the significance of the withdrawal was the fact that Queen Camilla had already made the journey from Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where she had been staying with King Charles during their traditional autumn residence. According to reports from royal correspondents, the Queen had undertaken the travel specifically to attend the funeral, indicating that the decision to withdraw was made only after careful consideration of her condition and medical advice. The Queen's absence was particularly felt, given her close relationship with the royal family and her role as a senior working member of the monarchy. Since becoming Queen Consort following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Camilla has maintained an active schedule of public engagements and has become an integral part of major royal occasions. Her withdrawal from such a significant family event was therefore seen as a clear indication of the seriousness of her health concerns. Palace insiders, speaking to various media outlets, suggested that the decision was made with great reluctance on the Queen's part. Those familiar with royal protocol noted that Queen Camilla is known for her commitment to her royal duties and her reluctance to cancel engagements unless absolutely necessary. The fact that she chose to withdraw from such an important family occasion, despite having made the journey from Scotland, underscored the genuine nature of her health issues. The announcement also highlighted the careful balance that senior royals must maintain between their public duties and their personal health. At 78 years of age, Queen Camilla carries a substantial workload of royal engagements, charitable patronages, and ceremonial duties. The demands of royal life, particularly during significant state occasions and family events, can be physically and emotionally taxing, especially when combined with health concerns. Medical experts familiar with acute sinusitis noted that the condition can be particularly challenging for individuals who need to speak publicly or attend lengthy ceremonial events. The inflammation and discomfort associated with sinusitis can affect speech, concentration, and overall stamina, making it difficult to participate effectively in formal royal occasions that require sustained attention and interaction with large numbers of people. The palace's decision to announce the withdrawal publicly also served multiple purposes beyond simple transparency. Royal watchers noted that such announcements help manage public expectations and prevent speculation about more serious health concerns. By providing a clear medical explanation for the Queen's absence, the palace sought to reassure the public, while also requesting understanding for the Queen's need to prioritize her recovery. The withdrawal also demonstrated the support system within the royal family, with other senior royals able to step forward and ensure that the important funeral service proceeded with appropriate royal representation. This flexibility and mutual support among family members has become increasingly important as the monarchy faces various health challenges among its senior members. The impact of Queen Camilla's withdrawal extended beyond the immediate funeral service, raising questions about her ability to participate in other scheduled royal engagements. Royal correspondents noted that the Queen's calendar includes numerous upcoming events, many of which require sustained physical presence and active participation in ceremonial duties. The announcement served as a reminder of the human side of the royal family, highlighting that even senior royals face health challenges that can impact their ability to fulfill their public duties. The transparency in addressing the Queen's health concerns reflected a modern approach to royal communications, where health issues are acknowledged openly rather than hidden or minimized. As news of the withdrawal spread through royal circles and beyond, many expressed their concern for the Queen's well-being, while also recognizing the wisdom of prioritizing health over protocol. The decision to step back from such a significant royal occasion, despite the disappointment it may have caused, was widely viewed as a responsible approach to managing health concerns while maintaining the dignity and effectiveness of royal representation at important events. The formal statement released by Buckingham Palace on Tuesday afternoon provided the official explanation for Queen Camilla's unexpected withdrawal from the Duchess of Kent's funeral service. The carefully worded announcement, delivered through established palace communication channels, offered both transparency and reassurance, while maintaining the dignity expected of royal correspondence. According to the official palace statement, Queen Camilla's decision to withdraw was made with great regret, emphasizing that the choice was not taken lightly. The statement read that Her Majesty the Queen had withdrawn from attendance at the afternoon's Requiem Mass for the Duchess of Kent, as she continued her recovery from acute sinusitis. This direct acknowledgement of a specific medical condition represented a level of transparency that has become more common in modern royal communications, moving away from the traditionally vague references to being under the weather that characterized earlier royal health announcements. The palace statement also included a personal touch, noting that the Queen's thoughts and prayers would remain with the Duke of Kent and all the family during this difficult time. This addition served multiple purposes, demonstrating that despite her physical absence, Queen Camilla remained emotionally connected to the family and the significance of the occasion. It also reinforced her commitment to royal protocol and family obligations, even when health concerns prevented her direct participation. Medical professionals familiar with acute sinusitis have provided context for understanding the condition that led to the Queen's withdrawal. According to health experts and information from the National Health Service, acute sinusitis is indeed a common condition that affects millions of people annually. The condition involves inflammation of the sinus cavities, which are air-filled spaces located behind the forehead, cheeks, and nose. When these spaces become inflamed and filled with fluid, they can cause significant discomfort and a range of debilitating symptoms. The symptoms of acute sinusitis can be particularly challenging for individuals who must maintain public appearances and speak publicly. Common symptoms include severe facial pain, pressure around the eyes and forehead, nasal congestion, difficulty breathing through the nose, and often a persistent headache. Many sufferers also experience fatigue, reduced sense of smell and taste, and general malaise that can make it difficult to concentrate or participate effectively in formal events. For someone in Queen Camilla's position, where public speaking, sustained attention, and interaction with numerous people are required, these symptoms could prove particularly problematic. Royal events typically involve extended periods of standing, walking, and social interaction, all of which can be challenging when dealing with the pain and discomfort associated with sinusitis. The condition can also affect speech clarity and projection, which would be particularly concerning during a formal religious service, where participation in prayers and responses might be expected. Medical experts note that acute sinusitis, while generally not life-threatening, should not be underestimated in its impact on daily functioning. The condition typically develops following a cold or respiratory infection, when inflammation prevents proper drainage of the sinuses. This can lead to bacterial growth and increased pressure within the sinus cavities, resulting in significant pain and discomfort. Treatment for acute sinusitis usually involves a combination of approaches designed to reduce inflammation, promote drainage, and manage symptoms. Common treatments include decongestants, pain relievers, and in some cases, antibiotics if a bacterial infection is suspected. Many patients also benefit from steam inhalation, nasal irrigation, and adequate rest to support the body's natural healing processes. The recovery period for acute sinusitis can vary significantly, depending on the individual and the severity of the condition. While some people may recover within a few days with proper treatment, others may experience symptoms for several weeks. Factors such as age, overall health, and stress levels can all influence recovery time, making it particularly important for older adults to allow adequate time for healing. For Queen Camilla, at 78 years of age and maintaining a demanding schedule of royal engagements, the decision to prioritize recovery over attendance at public events reflects sound medical judgment. Health professionals often emphasize that attempting to maintain normal activities while suffering from acute sinusitis can actually prolong the recovery period and potentially lead to complications. The palace's openness about the specific medical condition also serves to educate the public about a common health issue that is often misunderstood or minimized. By acknowledging that acute sinusitis was significant enough to prevent the Queen from fulfilling her royal duties, the palace helped normalize discussions about health conditions that, while not life-threatening, can significantly impact quality of life and daily functioning. Royal protocol traditionally requires careful consideration when making decisions about attendance at significant family events. The fact that medical advice apparently supported Queen Camilla's withdrawal suggests that healthcare professionals involved in her care recognize the genuine severity of her symptoms and the potential risks of attending a lengthy ceremonial event while unwell. The timing of the announcement also reflected careful consideration of various stakeholders. By releasing the information several hours before the service, the palace provided sufficient notice to allow for any necessary adjustments to ceremonial arrangements, while also ensuring that media coverage could accurately reflect the Queen's absence and its cause. Family members within the royal household reportedly expressed understanding and support for Queen Camilla's decision to prioritize her health. The Duke of Kent, who was bereaved and hosting family and friends at this difficult time, was said to have been personally informed of the Queen's absence and to have wished her a speedy recovery. This personal touch helped maintain the close family relationships that characterize the royal family's approach to supporting one another during both ceremonial occasions and health challenges. The medical explanation provided by the palace also helped dispel any speculation about more serious health concerns that might otherwise have emerged in the absence of clear information. Royal watchers and media commentators noted that the specific diagnosis of acute sinusitis, being both common and temporary, provided reassurance that the Queen's health issues were not indicative of more significant underlying problems. Healthcare professionals involved in treating public figures often emphasize the importance of allowing adequate recovery time for conditions like sinusitis, particularly given the stress and physical demands associated with public appearances. The decision to withdraw from such a significant event, while disappointing, demonstrated a mature approach to health management that prioritized long-term well-being over short-term obligations. The palace's communication strategy around Queen Camilla's health reflects broader changes in how the royal family approaches transparency about medical issues. This more open approach helps build public understanding and support, while also setting realistic expectations about the physical demands placed on senior royals, who continue their duties well into their later years. The funeral service that Queen Camilla was forced to miss represented far more than a typical royal family gathering, marking a truly historic moment in British royal history that had not been witnessed for several centuries. The Requiem Mass for Catherine, Duchess of Kent, at Westminster Cathedral carried profound religious and constitutional significance that made the Queen's absence all the more notable for those who understand the complexities of royal protocol and religious tradition. Westminster Cathedral, where the service took place, holds particular importance as the mother church of the Catholic community in England and Wales. The Neo-Byzantine structure, completed in 1902, had never before hosted a royal funeral of this magnitude, making the occasion unprecedented in the cathedral's relatively modern history. The choice of venue reflected the Duchess of Kent's personal faith journey and her position as one of the most prominent Catholic converts within the British royal family. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, who passed away on September 4th at the age of 92, had made headlines decades earlier when she became the first senior member of the royal family to convert to Catholicism since the Reformation. Her conversion in 1994 was a groundbreaking moment that challenged centuries of tradition and highlighted the evolving relationship between the British monarchy and the Catholic Church. The Act of Settlement of 1701 had historically barred Catholics from the line of succession and prevented the monarch from marrying a Catholic, making her conversion a significant constitutional moment. The Duchess's decision to embrace Catholicism was particularly remarkable given her position within the royal hierarchy. As the wife of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, who is a first cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II, her conversion represented the highest-ranking royal embrace of Catholicism in modern times. Her journey to the Catholic faith was described as deeply personal and spiritual, reflecting years of contemplation and religious exploration that ultimately led her to Rome. The historic nature of having a Catholic Requiem Mass for a member of the royal family cannot be overstated when considering the centuries of religious conflict that have shaped British history. The English Reformation, initiated by Henry VIII in the 16th century, created a permanent rift between the British monarchy and the Roman Catholic Church. For hundreds of years, Catholics faced legal discrimination, exclusion from public office, and suspicion from the Protestant establishment that governed Britain. The gradual relaxation of these restrictions began in the 19th century with Catholic emancipation, but the constitutional barriers remained largely intact well into the modern era. The fact that senior members of the royal family, including King Charles and Prince William, attended a Catholic funeral service demonstrated how far relationships between the monarchy and the Catholic Church have evolved in recent decades. Queen Camilla's planned attendance at this historic service would have carried particular significance given her role as Queen Consort and her position within the Church of England hierarchy. As the wife of the Supreme Governor of the Church of England, her presence at a Catholic service would have represented a powerful symbol of religious tolerance and interfaith understanding. Her absence, while medically necessary, meant that this symbolic representation was diminished at what many considered a watershed moment in British religious history. The service itself followed traditional Catholic funeral rites, with the Requiem Mass offering prayers for the repose of the Duchess's soul, according to Catholic teaching and tradition. The ceremony included elements that would have been unfamiliar to many Protestant members of the royal family, highlighting the theological differences that have historically divided British Christianity. The participation of senior royals in these distinctly Catholic rituals represented a remarkable evolution from the days when such attendance would have been politically and religiously impossible. Royal historians noted that the last comparable Catholic funeral involving the royal family occurred several centuries ago, before the religious settlements that established Protestant supremacy in Britain. The rarity of such occasions made the Duchess of Kent's funeral a moment of genuine historical significance, marking not just the passing of a beloved family member, but also a milestone in the ongoing reconciliation between Britain's Protestant establishment and its Catholic minority. The Duchess of Kent herself had been a bridge builder throughout her life, using her unique position to promote understanding between different Christian traditions. Her work with various charitable organizations, her dedication to music education, and her quiet but persistent advocacy for interfaith dialogue had made her a respected figure across religious boundaries. Her funeral therefore represented not just a personal farewell, but also a celebration of her role in fostering greater religious harmony within British society. For Queen Camilla, missing this historic occasion meant losing an opportunity to participate in what many observers saw as a defining moment in modern royal history. Her presence would have underscored the monarchy's commitment to religious inclusivity and would have demonstrated the personal relationships that transcend denominational differences within the royal family. The Queen's well-known interest in interfaith dialogue and her support for religious diversity made her absence particularly felt among those who had hoped to see her participate in this groundbreaking ceremony. The guest list for the service read like a who's who of British nobility and European royalty, with attendees traveling from across the continent to pay their respects to the Duchess. The presence of Catholic dignitaries alongside Protestant royals created a unique religious gathering that would have been unthinkable in previous centuries. This blending of traditions and faiths highlighted how much British society has changed since the days of religious conflict and discrimination. The media coverage of the funeral emphasized its historic nature, with royal correspondents and religious commentators noting the significance of seeing the heir to the throne and other senior royals participating in Catholic liturgy. The service was broadcast live, allowing millions of viewers to witness this unprecedented moment in royal and religious history. The absence of Queen Camilla was noted by commentators as a significant gap in what should have been complete royal representation at such a landmark event. The architectural setting of Westminster Cathedral added another layer of historical significance to the occasion. The cathedral's distinctive Byzantine-style interior, with its soaring dome and intricate mosaics, provided a dramatic backdrop that differed markedly from the Gothic Anglican churches typically associated with royal ceremonies. This visual difference reinforced the unique nature of the occasion and highlighted the Duchess's spiritual journey from Anglican tradition to Catholic faith. Royal protocol experts observed that the careful choreography required for such an unprecedented event demonstrated the palace's ability to adapt centuries-old traditions to accommodate modern religious realities. The service required delicate balancing of constitutional requirements with religious sensitivities, ensuring that the participation of Protestant royals in Catholic liturgy was handled with appropriate respect for both traditions. The historic nature of the funeral extended beyond mere religious significance to touch on broader questions of national identity and constitutional evolution. The ability of the royal family to participate fully in Catholic worship while maintaining their Protestant constitutional roles represented a mature approach to religious diversity that reflects modern Britain's multicultural and multi-faith character. The timing of Queen Camilla's illness could hardly have been more challenging from a diplomatic perspective, occurring just hours before one of the most significant state visits of the year was scheduled to begin. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were set to arrive in the United Kingdom on Wednesday morning, marking the beginning of a high-stakes diplomatic engagement that had been planned for months and carried enormous political and symbolic weight for both nations. State visits represent the pinnacle of diplomatic protocol, carefully choreographed events that require months of advanced planning and coordination between multiple government departments, security agencies, and royal household staff. The Trump visit was particularly significant given the complex relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom in recent years, encompassing everything from trade negotiations and defense cooperation to shared challenges in global security and economic policy. Queen Camilla's role in the upcoming state visit was expected to be both substantial and highly visible, with palace officials having planned a comprehensive program that would showcase the strength of the Anglo-American relationship while honoring the traditions of royal hospitality. The 3-day visit was designed to include multiple formal events, ceremonial occasions, and private meetings, each requiring the active participation of senior royals, including both King Charles and Queen Camilla. The opening ceremony at Windsor Castle, scheduled for Wednesday morning, represented one of the most important diplomatic moments of the visit. According to official palace announcements, the President and First Lady were to be greeted by King Charles and Queen Camilla in a formal welcome ceremony that would include a royal salute fired simultaneously from the East Lawn of Windsor Castle and from the Tower of London. This coordinated military tribute represents one of the highest honors that can be bestowed upon visiting heads of state. Following the formal welcome, the royal party was scheduled to participate in a carriage procession through the Windsor estate toward the castle, a tradition that combines pageantry with practical transportation, while providing opportunities for the visiting dignitaries to be seen by members of the public. Queen Camilla's participation in this procession would have been essential, as protocol typically requires the spouse of the monarch to accompany the spouse of the visiting head of state. The elaborate guard of honor ceremony planned for the quadrangle of Windsor Castle would have required Queen Camilla to stand alongside King Charles, President Trump, and the First Lady on the royal dais, while military units performed ceremonial duties. These events can involve extended periods of standing in formal dress, often in challenging weather conditions, making them particularly demanding for anyone dealing with health issues such as acute sinusitis. Perhaps most significantly, the state visit was to culminate in a formal state banquet at Windsor Castle, one of the most prestigious events in the royal calendar. These elaborate dinners, typically attended by hundreds of distinguished guests from both countries, require hours of preparation, formal receiving lines, multiple courses, speeches, and extended social interaction. For Queen Camilla, as Queen Consort, her presence and participation would be absolutely essential to the success of such an occasion. Royal experts and diplomatic observers noted that Queen Camilla's potential absence from any element of the state visit would create significant protocol challenges. State visits are governed by centuries of tradition and diplomatic precedent, with each element carefully designed to demonstrate respect, honor, and the strength of bilateral relationships. The absence of the Queen Consort from major ceremonial events would require careful diplomatic management to avoid any perception of slight or diminished enthusiasm for the visit. Behind the scenes, royal household staff and government officials were reportedly working on contingency plans that would allow the state visit to proceed smoothly, regardless of Queen Camilla's health status. These preparations would have included alternative seating arrangements for formal events, revised reception line protocols, and adjusted ceremonial procedures that could accommodate the Queen's potential absence while maintaining the dignity and importance of the occasion. The physical demands of state visit protocols are considerable, even for healthy individuals. The Queen would typically be expected to maintain a demanding schedule that might include morning ceremonies, afternoon receptions, evening banquets, and numerous photo opportunities, all while wearing formal attire and engaging in complex diplomatic conversations with foreign dignitaries. These requirements become significantly more challenging when dealing with the fatigue, pain, and congestion associated with acute sinusitis. Weather conditions also posed additional concerns for the state visit, with meteorologists predicting rain and wind throughout the ceremonial periods. Outdoor ceremonies in adverse weather conditions can be particularly challenging for individuals recovering from respiratory ailments, as cold, damp air can exacerbate sinus problems and potentially prolong recovery times. The international media attention surrounding the Trump visit added another layer of complexity to Queen Camilla's health situation. State visits typically attract extensive global media coverage, with photographers, television crews, and journalists documenting every aspect of the ceremonial proceedings. The Queen's absence from any major events would likely generate significant media speculation, and require careful communication management from palace officials. Diplomatic protocol experts emphasize the importance of the Queen Consort's participation in demonstrating the full commitment of the British royal family to honoring visiting heads of state. Her presence at key ceremonies sends important signals about the value placed on international relationships and the personal investment of the monarchy in diplomatic success. The complexity of state visit logistics means that last-minute changes can create cascading effects throughout the entire program. Seating arrangements, ceremonial positioning, transportation logistics, and security protocols all require careful coordination that can be disrupted by unexpected absences of key participants. Palace staff would have been working intensively to ensure that any necessary modifications could be implemented seamlessly. The financial and political investment in the Trump state visit was substantial, with both governments having committed significant resources to ensuring its success. The visit was seen as an opportunity to strengthen bilateral ties, advance trade discussions, and demonstrate the enduring importance of the transatlantic relationship. Despite various political challenges and disagreements that had emerged in recent years, Queen Camilla's illness also highlighted the increasing demands placed on senior royals as they age, while maintaining active public schedules. At 78, the Queen had been maintaining a remarkably busy calendar of engagements, charitable patronages, and ceremonial duties. The intersection of advancing age, demanding schedules, and high-stakes diplomatic events creates particular challenges for health management and recovery. Medical advisors to the royal household would have been carefully weighing the risks and benefits of the Queen's participation in various elements of the state visit. While acute sinusitis is typically not dangerous, the stress and physical demands of major diplomatic events could potentially worsen symptoms or prolong recovery time, creating difficult decisions about prioritizing immediate diplomatic obligations versus longer-term health considerations. The global significance of the Trump visit meant that Queen Camilla's health was being closely monitored, not just by British media and officials, but by international diplomatic observers who understood the importance of her participation in demonstrating the strength and continuity of royal protocol and Anglo-American relations. Queen Camilla's withdrawal from the Duchess of Kent's funeral was not an isolated incident, but rather part of a concerning pattern of health challenges that have periodically affected the 78-year-old monarch's ability to fulfill her royal duties over recent months. Royal watchers and medical observers have noted that this latest illness represents the continuation of respiratory and health issues that have occasionally forced the Queen to step back from her typically robust schedule of public engagements. The most notable previous health incident occurred in November of the previous year, when Queen Camilla was forced to cancel several important royal engagements due to what palace officials described as a chest infection. That earlier illness had similarly required her to withdraw from planned appearances at relatively short notice, causing concern among royal household staff and prompting speculation about the long-term sustainability of her demanding schedule of royal duties. The chest infection that affected the Queen in late 2024 had been particularly worrying because it persisted for several weeks, requiring extended rest and medical supervision before she was able to return to her full program of engagements. Medical experts at the time had noted that respiratory infections can be particularly challenging for older adults, often taking longer to resolve and potentially leading to complications if not properly managed with adequate rest and treatment. The pattern of respiratory ailments affecting Queen Camilla has raised questions among health professionals about potential underlying factors that might make her more susceptible to such conditions. Advanced age naturally brings increased vulnerability to respiratory infections, as the immune system becomes less effective at fighting off viruses and bacteria that cause conditions like chest infections and sinusitis. Additionally, the demanding nature of royal duties, which often involve extensive travel, exposure to large crowds, and irregular schedules, can create additional stress on the immune system. Royal physicians and medical advisors have reportedly been working closely with Queen Camilla to develop strategies for maintaining her health while continuing to fulfill her royal obligations. This delicate balance becomes increasingly challenging as senior royals age, while maintaining active public roles that require physical stamina, mental alertness, and the ability to engage effectively with hundreds of people during formal events and public appearances. The frequency of Queen Camilla's recent health challenges has also highlighted the broader pressures facing the royal family as they navigate an increasingly demanding schedule of engagements while dealing with various health concerns among senior family members. King Charles's own cancer diagnosis and treatment had already placed additional responsibilities on Queen Camilla's shoulders, making her own health challenges particularly significant for the functioning of the monarchy. Royal household staff have reportedly implemented various measures designed to help protect Queen Camilla's health while allowing her to continue her royal duties. These modifications may include adjustments to travel schedules, reduced exposure to large crowds during peak illness seasons, and careful spacing of major engagements to allow for adequate rest and recovery between demanding events. The timing of Queen Camilla's latest illness, occurring just before a major state visit, has intensified focus on contingency planning within the royal household. Palace officials have had to develop increasingly sophisticated backup plans that can accommodate the unexpected absence of senior royals from important ceremonial events while maintaining the dignity and effectiveness of royal representation. Medical experts familiar with acute sinusitis have emphasized that while the condition is typically not serious, it can be particularly debilitating for individuals who must maintain public speaking engagements and formal appearances. The pain, pressure, and fatigue associated with sinusitis can significantly impact concentration, stamina, and overall performance during lengthy ceremonial events that require sustained attention and social interaction. The Queen's medical team has likely recommended a comprehensive approach to treating her acute sinusitis, potentially including prescription medications to reduce inflammation, manage pain, and prevent secondary bacterial infections. Recovery protocols may also include rest, hydration, steam therapy, and careful monitoring to ensure that symptoms do not worsen or lead to complications that could require more intensive medical intervention. Looking ahead, royal observers and medical professionals have expressed cautious optimism about Queen Camilla's ability to recover from her current illness and return to her royal duties. However, the pattern of recent respiratory ailments has led to discussions about potential modifications to her long-term schedule and the need for more flexible approaches to managing royal engagements as she continues to age. The support system within the royal family has become increasingly important as various senior members deal with health challenges. Prince William and Princess Catherine have taken on expanded roles to help cover royal duties when needed, while other working members of the royal family have shown flexibility in adjusting their own schedules to ensure continuity of royal representation at important events. Palace communication strategy around Queen Camilla's health has evolved to provide more transparency about specific medical conditions, while still maintaining appropriate privacy about detailed medical information. This approach helps manage public expectations and reduces speculation, while demonstrating that the royal family takes health concerns seriously and prioritizes proper medical care over protocol obligations. The international implications of Queen Camilla's health challenges extend beyond immediate ceremonial duties to broader questions about the sustainability of royal diplomatic engagement. Foreign governments and diplomatic missions invest considerable resources in state visits and royal engagements, making the reliability of royal participation an important factor in international relationship management. Recovery timelines for acute sinusitis can vary significantly, depending on individual factors, treatment effectiveness, and environmental conditions. Medical professionals typically recommend complete rest during the acute phase of the illness, followed by gradual return to normal activities as symptoms subside. For someone in Queen Camilla's position, this recovery process must be carefully balanced against pressing royal obligations and diplomatic commitments. The Queen's dedication to her royal duties has been evident throughout her tenure as Queen Consort, with observers noting her reluctance to cancel engagements unless absolutely necessary. This commitment to duty, while admirable, also raises concerns about the potential for overexertion during recovery periods and the importance of allowing adequate healing time to prevent recurrence or complications. Future planning for royal engagements will likely incorporate lessons learned from recent health challenges, potentially including more flexible scheduling, enhanced medical support during major events, and improved contingency protocols that can accommodate unexpected health issues without compromising the effectiveness of royal representation. The broader context of aging within the senior royal family has created new challenges for household management and public engagement. As multiple senior royals deal with various health concerns, the monarchy has had to develop more resilient systems that can maintain continuity of service while respecting the health needs of individual family members. Public reaction to Queen Camilla's health challenges has generally been supportive and understanding, with many expressing concern for her well-being, while recognizing the wisdom of prioritizing health over ceremonial obligations. This public support provides important backing for royal decision-making around health management and engagement scheduling. Medical advisors to the royal household continue to monitor Queen Camilla's condition closely, with ongoing assessments of her ability to participate in upcoming engagements, including the crucial elements of the Trump state visit. The decision-making process involves careful consideration of medical advice, diplomatic obligations, and the Queen's own preferences regarding her participation in important royal events. The long-term outlook for Queen Camilla's health and royal duties will depend on various factors, including her response to current treatment, implementation of preventive health measures, and potential adjustments to her royal schedule that could reduce stress and exposure to conditions that might compromise her immune system.